The internet is full of these kind of comments about Web3. Sometimes I wonder how a new idea that is currently in its infancy can already have such a negative reputation. Everything related to blockchains, cryptocurrencies, and all these weird, sometimes very hard to grasp ideas around them, like NFTs or decentralized finance, are so highly unregulated and immature that a normal person can barely understand or use them without taking a lot of time to deep dive into the technology. Bad players in the space use this uncertainty to make profit off of unknowledgeable people, and DeFi, for example, in my opinion, is nothing more than a decentralized, unregulated stock market on steroids. But underneath the surface, it's a fascinating technology that opens doors to a more democratic and free internet that is developing at a rapid speed. Only every now and then ideas will make it to the mainstream, like the weird monkey pictures in 2021. But just because the hype is over, and I think we can all agree that NFTs as digital art are most likely not the best idea of the century, it doesn't mean that Web3 is dead. In fact, it's stronger than ever right now. But also, let me be honest with you. I think Web3 as it is today has barely anything that I would use in my daily life right now. But who was using the internet in 1990? I think that's a good way to look at it. Let's take a quick dive into how all the things surrounding blockchain got such a negative reputation in the mainstream and how blockchain technology can actually be used to build the next generation of the internet. As always, let's look at it with differentiation. Part 1. How you heard about crypto. These are all guesses into the blue, obviously, but let's start with some assumptions. It's very likely that you heard about crypto during the last couple of years in one of the following 4 scenarios. Scenario 1. You heard about Bitcoin for the first time as a payment method for criminals, or because you saw the price going up rapidly in the news. Scenario 2. You have some super annoying Dubai influencers in your YouTube or Instagram feed that are promising you a horrendous amount of return in like 2 days. The third scenario is that you heard of crypto for the first time in the context of NFTs during the digital art hype around 2021. And the fourth scenario is that a friend of you made $1 million in some random meme coin and now you wanted to do the same. While these are all valid entry points, they are exclusively showing the speculational and scammy side of Web3. To understand what it's really about, we need to dive deeper into terms. Blockchains are the underlying technology of Web3. They are a new form of decentralized databases that didn't exist before. They solve a super old mathematical problem, so they basically work by themselves. They are completely decentralized. They are changing the paradigm, enabling a million new possibilities for the internet of the future. Cryptocurrencies, on the other hand, are digital currencies based on blockchain technology. Bitcoin is a digital currency, for example, and it was also the first ever blockchain. But a very important note, just because Bitcoin was the first ever blockchain, that doesn't mean that blockchains are necessarily linked to cryptocurrencies. Every crypto coin uses a blockchain, but not every blockchain is built for crypto coins, although it's true that most blockchains have their own native token that you can look at as an equivalent to a stock for the certain blockchain. DeFi is a short term for decentralized finance. It is a whole new financial market based on different blockchains. It's basically a banking and trading system that works without a bank and is completely trustless. Pretty cool, but also kind of the biggest casino in the world. A place where all kinds of players try to make a profit and will not miss any chance to get an advantage. This is also the place where you can find the most scammers. Web3 is a very broad term for the new generation of internet applications, enabled by the new technology called blockchain. Usually it can include everything from cryptocurrencies to NFTs, which are technically just tokens and not necessarily digital art. And it also includes the idea of bringing control of the data back to the user. Also having a fully decentralized network and getting rid of the intermediary in economic procedures as a result. Sometimes it's also used for applications that don't use blockchain, but give the users more control about their own data again. Very important note at this part. Crypto is not Web3, but it's part of Web3. At this point, I want to give you some reasons why most people don't like the idea of Web3, or at least they think they don't like it. Firstly, this space is full of scammers. Because it's so unregulated, influencers and unknown people can get away with launching a random coin, NFT or whatever, just a random token, scamming a few people with like a pump and dump scheme, for example, and might never even get charged for it. That's why I always say it's the Wild West of the internet. Especially DeFi is a wild west for sure. Secondly, cryptocurrencies are almost exclusively used for speculation as of now, and can't really compete against payment systems like Visa. There are a couple of reasons for that I don't want to go into detail right now. We made a video about the scaling problem of blockchains, just click right here. To make it easier to understand all these weird tokens that you can see in the space, most of them can be thought of as stocks for a certain project. It's basically a digital, unregulated stock market. Third reason why people hate Web3 is that they have no clue what Web3 even is, and nor do we. It's evolving every day. Some people define it as a fully decentralized internet, others just want to move away from the huge monopolies that Meta, Google and Co. have in Web2 today. Almost every application that you can see in the Web2 space can be rebuilt in a decentralized way, but not everything is better in a decentralized way. Some projects would simply get too inefficient, while others would profit a lot from a decentralized version. But is Web3 really that bad? I don't think so. It's very unregulated and immature, and it has a lot of people that just want to make a profit in the space, but it has really good use cases. And I think when blockchains manage to scale in the next couple of years, we just need one very good use case and it might find adoption to the mainstream. So here's what Web3 is really about, at least for me. First of all, Web3 removes intermediaries. Blockchains can achieve that with the use of so-called smart contracts, which are basically code-based contracts that execute automatically as soon as certain conditions are met. This can lead to use cases like traffic lights repairing themselves, as we saw in our latest video, or you can use it to build a streaming service that directly pays to the artist. Of course, there's always a company developing the protocol, which usually gets a little bit of the cut, but it's way less and they have way less power, which is even more important than Spotify would have, for example. I think this whole cutting the intermediary thing is by far the biggest selling point of blockchains. As soon as they're able to scale and they are getting a little less expensive in the next couple of years, I have high hopes. Also, in the blockchain model, big corporations have way less power, especially about your own data. The reason for that is that Web2 is completely centralized. So companies usually own their server infrastructure and they have full control about what is on a platform and what isn't, which makes moderation a lot easier, but also exploitation a lot easier. In the Web3 model, we are going more back to the model of Web 1. So companies are developing a protocol and the protocol itself will run autonomously on a decentralized blockchain, ideally. So that means you only share the data you want to share with the company, and if a protocol is asking for the H, it only gets delivered the H. Also, NFTs are very useful. I know all you think about is some weird monkey pictures and digital art, but they have a lot of more use cases than that. As they are just tokens, they can be used for football game tickets, gaming items that have cross integrations. So I don't know, you could buy a skin in Counter-Strike and it automatically gives you a discount in other games that are built from the same developer, or even built by other developers, as the blockchain is transparent and everyone can use every single NFT. Or for instance, they are very good for music right tracking. There are a lot more potential use cases that we will explore on this channel. So if you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up, write any questions you have in the comments, and if you are super cool, you just subscribe to this YouTube channel down there. My name is Tom from WTF Web3. I wish you a very nice day. Goodbye.